somebody even suggested something about, the criminals get too many rights, and there was something. Well, how does the Constitution? How is it involved in that? What part of the Constitution is involved in something that protects a person who's committed a crime? Does anybody remember what we call that?
Due process.
Due process. All right. It's not just a crime. That means that you have to be given certain rights right along. If one of them is taken away,
Then you're out.
we don't know how the Supreme Court's going to rule, but yeah, the Constitution vary a lot. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, the Constitution's a document that was written 200 years ago. It's been around a long time. Okay, the ideas in there were given by men who lived 200 years ago. Now, they knew that at one time we'd have to make some changes. We have discussed in this class changes in the Constitution, both changes in the Constitution and additions to the Constitution, okay? What part of the Constitution needs to be changed? Renee?
I think that a part that should be changed is the electoral college, because if a president can get more votes but still lose the race according to the electoral college. I think elections should just go by the popular vote.
Okay, you mean a candidate, not the president. You mean a potential candidate. All right. Why is that possible now where it might
faster now?
Okay, so you would say, that's an unfair system. Now, why do you suppose they made that system in the first place? All right, you're supposed to say that back then they didn't have as much confidence in the voters' judgment as we have now. All right, so you're going to handle that?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in on that? We don't want it to be too, okay, Irene, on that subject now, on the president.
Well, I agree with Renee that they should it should be the right of the people to pick the president they want. That it should be the popular vote that gets the president, not the electoral college, because it's the people who are gonna also follow the rules of the laws that the president makes or tries to pass and stuff.
Okay, I think it's cut because of this electoral college. Okay, we don't have to go into that. What he said is good enough. If you want to follow through on that, fine. All right, now let's get to the native-born bit, okay? Who was going to say something about that? You and anybody else? Okay, all right, now let's resume, okay?
Oh, it's already on.
No, resume. Okay, what else beside that? I think we recognize that that's something we like to change. What else might we want to change about the Constitution?
Well, I'd like to change the part that says that you have to be a natural-born citizen, because, I mean, how about...
You have to be a natural-born citizen to be...
a president.
Okay.
How about if there's really a very good candidate that wasn't born here, and he would really do a lot for the country? I think if you really want someone up there that loves the country and knows a lot about it, just say that he has to be a naturalized citizen for at least 20 years.
Okay, but you would agree that he'd have to be here a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want him to establish the fact that he's an American and his allegiance is to this country.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on that subject about the native-born citizen? Why do you think they did it back then in those days? Why do you think they said you should be a native-born citizen? Patty?
I think they said this because of during that time they were still having the war for independence was over, but they were afraid that something might happen if there were another.
They were afraid of people. They were afraid of people having allegiance to their old country. Now, this particular thing is kind of a particular interest to us here, right? How many of you were born in another country? All right. So, we have the part now about a woman never being president, okay? That's not, a woman could become a president. There's nothing in the Constitution that forbids that. But right here we have laws that are saying that if you're born in another country, you're not as good as an American, and we sort of disagree with that. Would I say we have a general consensus on that?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that would be good for that part.
Cut it off?
Yes. Electoral college. We want to do something about that. We like to do something about the fact that it says in the Constitution that the president has to be a native-born citizen, okay? What else? Is there any other areas that need to be changed, Diane?
I think that we should add the amendment which states that they would stop the making of nuclear bombs and shuts down nuclear plants.
You want to shut down nuclear plants. I think you might get a little bit of argument on that.
I'm
you know,
sure
that-
I would, but still, what is it doing for us but nothing but getting the Russians mad so they make more bombs? What's
Yeah.
it going to get us? Nothing but death.
All right, again, I think you might get some arguments on that, whether maybe we need a response from the Russians first. You know, if there's anything in the Russian constitution that prevents them from making nuclear bombs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you would like to add that. And I think there are a lot of people who would agree with you, and I think there are a lot of people who would disagree with you, okay? But this, what you're saying is to be added rather than changed, okay? All right, what else, what other addition rather than change could we make to the Constitution?
Well, mine would be also like an amending process. I think that after a president, after he's out of office, after, his term is over, that I don't think he should be harassed with, the publishing of his love life and all that, and his past mistakes he's made and all that, all those things they publish in newspapers, which probably bother him.
All right, do you think, though, that that's important enough to make an amendment to the Constitution? See, in other words, I think maybe under that, think maybe he's protected under other amendments, other than, from being harassed. So, I don't know if that would be legitimate. Okay, what amendment would you suggest, Ms. Ennie?
I would put the right to bear arms should be modified or enforced to reflect in a better society.
In other words, I think what you're saying is that, in the Constitution, they said the right to bear arms shall not be infringed upon, or whatever, okay? And in those days, they were doing that to protect themselves against whom? Against the Indians, against the Indians and against the British, okay? Now, why I like what you said about updating it. I mean, are you saying there's some abuses to that now? Where people use guns for the wrong purposes, or they're too easy to get?
People just use them just to kill each other. I don't think, and for stupid reasons, like for giving someone a stupid sign or just dressing in the wrong colors. That's a stupid reason for using them. I don't think they should.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is that the guns are too easy to get now.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're giving to the wrong people.
And they seem to get into the hands of the wrong people. Okay, there's been a real strong argument about that by different groups who have different opinions on that. But that's a very legitimate concern. I would like to see you write out an amendment and send it to Congressman what's his name?
Yates.
What's that? Yates, okay.
9th District.
And suggest that maybe we do something about that, and at least let them know that we're concerned about that. And we think that when the Constitution was written, that society was different, and maybe that part of it needs to be updated. What would you do to change the Constitution?
Another amendment I would add to the Constitution would be to higher the drinking age to 21.
Raise it. Say raise. Okay.
Raise the drinking age to 21.
All right, in other words, make it a law all over the United States, correct? Okay, who determines what the drinking age is now? The states determine the drinking age. What you're saying is there has to be a law all over the United States where you have to be 21 to drink, okay? Can you think of something similar to this, what we're talking about, where there were separate laws for each state?
Voting.
Where they made,
The amendment of 1971 changed that.
all right, now you be in the group and you say that, okay? All right. No, I'll ask that question. I'll lead into that, and I'll say, states used to control voting, whereas some states you could vote if you were 18, some 21. Now, an amendment changed it. What amendment was it?
It was the 26th
You
Amendment.
say it. The 26th Amendment changed that, and they said that you could vote. You have to be 18.
Right.
All you have to be is 18, and it's uniform toward the United States. Okay. This is an example of what now? Let's give them. All right. This is an example of what? Hey. This is an example of how what? The federal government is what? The Constitution is what? All right. I'm leading you into something. You're not catching the bait. Okay?
It's supreme. It's the
All
supreme
right,
law of the
it's
land.
the supreme law of the land. Okay. Now I'm going to try to lead you into that. Now, he's picking